For more on the significance of Joe Biden's decision to put Senator Harris on the ticket, we are joined by CBS News political contributors Jamal Simmons and Terry Sullivan. Good morning. Good to see you both. Terry, let me start with you. Our nation's first vice president, John Adams, famously said, "I am nothing, but I could be everything." I wonder, is this selection everything for former Vice President Biden? How transformative is this for the presidential race right now?
This is the least surprising pick imaginable for Joe Biden, which fits into Joe Biden. He's not going to take a risk, and he doesn't need to right now. I mean, it's been the conventional wisdom that Senator Harris was the best pick, that checked all the boxes. She's been vetted, and so this was a safe pick for him. So, you know, he doesn't need a risky pick at this point in time.
Same question to you, Jamal. How transformative is this pick? How does this change the dynamics of this race going forward?
Good morning, Vlad and Terry. Listen, I think this is one of the most dynamic, exciting picks. Now, sometimes you pick a candidate for geographic reasons. She's from California. That doesn't really matter as much. Democrats going to win that state. There's a demographic reason, obviously, because she's a woman, the first African-American, the first Asian-American woman to sit on the ticket. But there's also a psychographic reason. Joe Biden needs to touch the chord of excitement in Democrats that has been a little bit low for the last few months. People wanted to beat Donald Trump. They feel confident in Joe Biden. They think he can do the job. But if you talk to people, the level of excitement just wasn't there. My feeds yesterday, whether it was Twitter or Instagram or my personal texts, were going off the charts. Even Joe Biden said he raised some of the most money that he raised the entire campaign yesterday after he made this announcement. Democrats are excited about this ticket. They are ready to go. I think that matters.
So, Terry, if you were advising President Trump's campaign... Go ahead, Terry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, if Twitter mattered, well, it doesn't. So, I mean, you know, the energy on Twitter doesn't matter. The worst thing that could happen to Joe Biden is energy about Joe Biden's campaign. I mean, look, this race is the best thing for Joe Biden is this race is a referendum on Donald Trump. And that's why he's been hiding in his basement wisely for the last 6 months. At the end of the day, he has to pick boring picks like Senator Harris. Because if he does anything unconventional, if he does anything risky, if he does anything exciting, he's going to become the center of attention, and he can't withstand the spotlight. That is what they're concerned about. So they're like a SEC football team that is 40 points ahead at halftime. They just need to run out the clock and sit on the ball and not do any turnovers.
Vlad, I got to tell you, never in the history of politics have I ever heard anybody say that excitement was a bad thing for a candidate. Never have I ever heard that. This is the most exciting thing.
John Adams famously said, "I am nothing, but I could be everything." I wonder, is this selection everything for former Vice President Biden? How transformative is this for the presidential race right now?
This is the least surprising pick imaginable for Joe Biden, which fits into Joe Biden. He's not going to take a risk, and he doesn't need to right now. I mean, it's been the conventional wisdom that Senator Harris was the best pick, that checked all the boxes. She's been vetted, and so this was a safe pick for him. So, you know, he doesn't need a risky pick at this point in time.
Same question to you, Jamal. How transformative is this pick? How does this change the dynamics of this race going forward?
Good morning, Vlad and Terry. Listen, I think this is one of the most dynamic, exciting picks. Now, sometimes you pick a candidate for geographic reasons. She's from California. That doesn't really matter as much. Democrats going to win that state. There's a demographic reason, obviously, because is she a Generation Xer or is she a baby boomer? I think she lives in that netherworld between the two of those generations. But for those of us who are Generation Xers, it feels like the first candidate from our generation that could actually take national leadership.
All right. So, Terry, some Republicans are already attacking Kamala Harris as somebody with extreme positions. Will that argument stick with voters?
You know, it's yet to be seen. I mean, the problem that the Trump campaign has is the campaign finds a decent message that would work, and then their #1 messenger strays off and talks about everything else except for that message. So I think it could work. She does have some extreme liberal positions, and the question is Donald Trump going to stick with that message, or is he going to wander off talking about former staffers who write tell-all books? And that's the problem, the fundamental problem with the Trump campaign thus far.
Terry, in your view, what are some of those extreme positions?
Look, guns. I mean, she's very restrictive on Second Amendment rights, on the life issue, you just across the board, she's got some left of mainstream. I mean, she's a senator from one of the more liberal states in the country. You don't get elected there by being a moderate mainstream Democrat.
Jamal, it's interesting to me. The president has attacked her for her remarks made during Justice Kavanaugh's nomination. She's been attacked for being what some people say. You see a lot of this on social media. They call her a cop because of her positions as a prosecutor. Take me through how she overcomes some of those challenges.
Listen, that's going to be probably her biggest challenge. Many commentators are saying she's going to help with young voters. That's true to a point. I think she's very helpful with voters over the age of 30, maybe over the age of 35. But those voters who are 18 to 29, especially voters of color, particularly men of color in 18 to 29, which are the place where Donald Trump is trying to kind of shave off a few of these votes on his criminal justice record, which is flawed, by the way, but he's going to try to do it. Those people are very suspicious of her time as a prosecutor. She's got to make the case, which I think she does have some evidence, that she tried to be a reformer as a prosecutor, and now the question is, what's she going to do going forward? And she understands some of the limitations of the criminal justice system. On the other hand, women over the age of 35, over the age of 50, people my aunt's age who are 70, all think that this is the most groundbreaking, wonderful thing. So I think that she will have this question about criminal justice reform, but she's got to get the question back to Donald Trump, the 160,000 people who died because of coronavirus, and talking about whether or not we're going to have competent management in the government and a future that Democrats and everybody in the country, women in particular in the suburbs, can move forward with.
Terry Sullivan and Jamal Simmons, always great to talk to you both. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Good to talk to you guys.